Thank you for joining us again. This is video number 3 in our series of church development. We are still on course number 1, and we're down on point 4, pruning this time. There's a link in the description below to which you can open the document for this and read along with us, or perhaps the person who invited you to the program has sent you the PDF or given you a hard copy already. It's important for you to know that document, have it in front of you, or have read it before you listen to this video. And the purpose of these videos is not to answer all of your questions about this series or be like a discussion. It's to prepare you so you come to the seminars with questions, with an open mind, searching for answers, searching for input to help others so that we can move forward together in this. We're on the section of pruning in the first course of this, and the first course is general must-haves for all leadership levels. And the pruning is something that's often neglected. And by pruning, I mean once a person or a program or an activity or tradition is in place, then it seldom changes. It's seldom pruned. Now, pruning doesn't mean we get rid of something necessarily. Pruning means we refine it. And Scripture talks about that. Individually, Jesus says He will prune us. And we will be changed spiritually. And in the pruning process, certain things, not necessarily bad things, but just certain things, could be bad, could be good things, but that we're needing to grow, are cut out of our lives. And the Lord takes those away in order that we could bear more fruit, we can bear sweeter fruit, we can have a greater impact. We usually don't sit back and examine what we're doing and how it's really affecting us. I have seen churches that were struggling, surviving, yet they would not change their traditional service times. They would not change a lot of their functions. They did not have time to teach their congregation how to share their faith with someone else. But when the new pastor came in, they first of all had a Saturday, Sunday celebration for the outgoing pastor. They had a Saturday, Sunday celebration where the two pastors were there together, the outgoing and the incoming. And then they had a Saturday, Sunday celebration at a different time for the incoming pastor. So they were able to designate 6 days with extensive meals and celebration and publication for their congregation to celebrate pastors, but they didn't have time or opportunity to teach their congregations how to share their faith individually. I wonder why they're not growing. You know, I don't go to my neighbors and that I don't know and celebrate their birthday party. So celebrations won't bring in the spiritual seekers. That brings in the people that are already there. But if we're wanting our ministry to grow, we want to bring in the people who are seekers, who aren't yet a part of that. So sometimes we need to prune some of the time. Maybe we don't get rid of it. We don't get rid of celebrating our pastors or incoming pastors. But we need to prune the amount of time that we spend in that. So that's an example of the things that we will discuss in this, of ministries that are happening. Pruning should be done with care and grace, and we'll talk about that when we meet in person. The Lord just doesn't come in with a hatchet and chop things out of our life, but He carefully selects what needs to be cut and pruned. He takes it away. He puts salve upon us so that we can heal. And so we want to do that both with ourselves, with our ministries, and with others that are involved. This is necessary to flourish. So you can either cling to what you've been doing without pruning, and you won't bear any more fruit than you ever have. Or you can prune, and you can do it with grace, and you will see that flourishing takes place. The fifth and last portion of this course number 1 is mindfulness. You must be mindful of the purpose for this group. It's the MCCA, but for whatever your denomination or congregational set is that I'm talking to, there is a set in the denominational level, in the country level, in your local congregation, and your sub-ministry. So be mindful where you fit in that. So you keep your focus on your job. Think of this as sailing a ship into battle. You know, the captain of the ship has one set of priorities. The person at the wheel has another set of priorities. The person down in the engine room, they have another set of priorities. And they must each be very mindful of how every command and every purpose affects their actions. So are you mindful of how you fit into the overall scheme? If you're not, you need to work with your leaders, or as a leader, you need to teach your people and let everyone find out where they fit in this kingdom work. That's so important. You should have key persons and factors, activities to ensure that this happens. There should be people that are over the greeters. There should be people that are over your Sunday school educators. There should be people that are over your community outreach. There should be people that are over organizing, educating parents if you have an after-school program, whatever. It's endless. We could go through all of these. But there needs to be somebody who is making sure that the workers in each of those are really mindful of how their input impacts this. And then the last thing that we'll talk about under mindfulness is that there are distractions, there are detractors, and there are obstacles that prevent this from happening. Those distractions and detractors and obstacles are often outside the church, but they're most often inside the church. And we will talk about how those things happen that get us off course, that keep us from being aware of how we're having an impact. And that's what we'll discuss in the seminar. So read over this, look at your outline, and we'll talk about this in detail when we meet in person. Hope to speak to you soon. A few more videos are coming after this, as the next one is the beginning of Course 2. God bless you. See you soon.